What is the best weight of a hula hoop? Let's play that game that you have no idea and you do not actually have a hula hoop yet. You're looking around hula hoops and you want to buy one. You want to pick the best one for you or someone that you love. Which one do you choose? Then you look online because you want to get one, and it's a whole bunch of different hula hoops. You just see that, yeah, they are all hoops, but why does it have to be so confusing? Why do they have to have so many different kinds of hula hoops when you just want one? Just a word of warning, that's how I started off too, and this is not even all of the hula hoops that I have. I'm basically the hula hoop version of the crazy cat lady. But let's say you do not want to have this many hoops, you want one. Which one? Well, this is your lucky day, gorgeous, because I have been hula hooping full-time professionally for the last 15 years, so I know a thing or two about hula hoops. I'm also a mum, so I know about hooping for kids, hooping for grown-ups, hooping for all kinds of reasons. And I think all of these hula hoops are pretty awesome. They are all good for something. But to make sure that we understand what they are good for and which one is good for what and who, let's do some magic. Ta-da! Look, I separated them. There's 3 different groups, the heavy, the medium weight and the super lightweight hula hoops. And this is going to make it so simple for us to take a journey into the wilderness of the world of hula hooping and discover that it's not that wild, it actually does make sense. Many people think that hoops are like dumbbells, that the heavier it is, the harder the workout and the fitter they get. But with hula hoops, it's actually exactly the opposite. The heavier the hula hoop, the easier it is to keep it going. So it's not really going to push you too much in terms of fitness, and that way it will not change your physique that much. The lighter, the smaller the hoop, the harder it is to keep it going. So it really pushes you and it gets you fitter. But these are way too small for anyone to spin them around their body. So it's best to get something like this. Slightly bigger and heavier and stays up on adults and kids as well. And this will change your physique. I know, because this was me 15 years ago when I first started hula hooping. At this point, when this video was filmed, I already lost 3 dress sizes just from hula hooping, and I started off with this big blue hoop, which was 100 centimeters in diameter, 25 millimeter HDPE with no tape. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. Clearly, I had no idea what I was doing, but that was the hoop that was available for next day delivery, so I chose that one. And I do not have, unfortunately, any video clips from when I first actually picked this very hoop up, because in 2008 there wasn't that many smartphones, believe it or not. I do feel like a dinosaur. And when I started, I looked like you want to call the ambulance, not film me, because I was so bad. I suggest that we start our journey with the weighted hula hoops, because that's the easiest. Let's enter the world of the weighted hula hoops. The heaviest hula hoops usually are super easy to find and buy, and they come in sections and this spongy, foamy kind of covering so that you don't get too bruised up, although you will get bruised up anyway. And what they are good for is that there are those kind of people who have tried the super tiny lightweight hula hoops and they failed, and now they believe for the rest of their lives they will have this disability and they will never be able to hula hoop. If you feel like that you cannot keep up a hula hoop to save your life, this hula hoop is going to be your best friend, because this makes hula hooping easy. So without putting too much energy and calories into it, you can just pick this up, give it a spin, and by magic this is going to just stay up so easily. Why? Because you don't have to push very hard into this for it to stay up, and also it's easier to feel it because it beats you up more. Once it stays up and you're super confident and you know that you have all it takes, you can keep up a hula hoop, then I wouldn't carry on using it. I would move on to the next group of hoops, which is the medium weight hula hoops, because this is actually not great for beginners to keep hula hooping with. Actually, I do have a full YouTube video about weighted hula hoops and the safety of using them. So if you're interested, do check that out. It's in the description of this video. First, it's good for people who cannot keep up a hula hoop, because with this they can keep up a hula hoop and get started. But it's also good for people who want to get bigger and stronger, more solid looking muscles. So if you're a man and you feel skinny and you want to look bigger and scarier, This will be brilliant for you to use because you probably already have the structure, the strength, the core strength to safely use these. And this will help you to create muscle mass if you want to get bulk. Bulk is the word. So this is great for that. Before I put this hoop back there, what I would like to point out, I would never let kids use this kind of hula hoop. It's way too heavy. And if you had a history of any kind of back issues, I would never touch this. I personally never use this. I only bought it just so I can show you in the video. These are around 880 grams like this one, or even heavier. This one actually can even be filled up to get heavier. Anyways, the land of weighted hula hoops has been explored. Let's move on. So we shall just continue our journey. Next stop. Oh, that's my world. The medium hula hoops. The world of these is super confusing. It deserves a map on its own. Let's go through it very, very quickly so it all makes sense. These weigh less than the weighted hula hoops, so I would say under 880 grams, but still above 340 grams, approximately, because it will depend on a couple of factors. And these hoops you can use around your waist, like core everywhere, hips, shoulders, as well as arms, elbows, hands, feet, legs, on kids, everywhere. With these you can learn fun moves which you may not want to do first, but eventually hopefully you will be interested, because when you learn different moves, that helps you avoid repetitive strain injury, and also the different moves help you get fitter, faster, and into a better shape if you're interested in shape. In the world of the medium weight hula hoops lives the wooden and metal hula hoops. These I would not touch if you're a beginner. Only if you are very familiar with hula hoop moves and your connective tissue is super trained. People ask me all the time what hoops I use. Well, I don't think you want to use the hoops that I use because you haven't been hooping for that long. And when I started, I would have never had a good experience with these. But these are the kind of hoops that I use, and they are 32 inches in diameter, and they are wooden, and they beat you up like crazy, but my connective tissue is used to abuse and is so solid and strong that I don't get bruises anymore. But in the beginning, it's normal to have bruises when you start hula hooping, even if you're using a plastic hula hoop. My wooden hula hoop weighs 440 grams, which is pretty much equivalent of the 25mm HDPE hula hoop. But I use wooden because it helps to make my skin firmer, it doesn't mark the walls or the floor, and I can even put some essential oils on them so they smell lovely. So I move on to the plastic hula hoops. I hide all the metal and wooden hula hoops out of sight so that you're not even tempted, because if you're a beginner, you shouldn't go there. You should choose the plastic ones. So let's say now we are wandering in the category of medium weight plastic hula hoops. And even there, if you read descriptions of hula hoops, it will be a bit still confusing, because there will be different materials, different diameter, and different tubing thickness. So let's clear that area. If it's the material that you're worried about, what you will have to look out for is if it's a polypro hula hoop, which actually is not a medium weight hoop. It's a super lightweight hoop. So if it's a polypro, it's not a medium. Okay, so you don't worry about polypro at the moment. And if it's not polypro, then you are in the medium range. But my hoops are British, and different countries can be different in it. So what I've done is I've measured them all, and you can pause if you like, just so you can have a look at all my different plastic hula hoops, what they weigh and what their sizes are, to avoid arguments. So now the material is clear, sort of. The next part in the description of a hula hoop will be about the tubing thickness. It could be almost any, but most of the time it's 25mm or 20mm thick tubing. What I would say is, if you're more of a beginner with not that great coordination, mostly you want to spin the hoop around your core, so waist, hips, chest, shoulders, I would go for this one. If you're not that much of a beginner and you have good coordination and you are looking into learning a variety of tricks, then I would choose the 20mm hula hoop. Then you also need to decide the diameter of the hoop that you want to get, because the diameter will impact the weight. Of course, if it's a bigger hoop, it will be heavier, and the bigger the heavier, the easier it is to keep it going. So if you're super beginner or super unfit, the bigger, the easier. And then if you're quite fit, quite coordinated, the smaller, the harder work, the more you sweat, the more energy you use. When it's about diameter, online what's very popular is to measure how far your belly button is from the floor. I am not hating on belly buttons. I love belly buttons actually, who could resist, honestly? But I think that actually has quite a lot to do with your height, how tall you are. And I don't think that you want to spin your hoop like this. I think you want to spin it like that. So your height will not have that much to do with it. I like to use dress sizes to determine which size hula hoop is best for you, because imagine a scenario when there's, let's say, my neighbor who is a short little lady and she's quite wide. She hasn't been working out much. Her belly button is not too far from the ground, but she will need a big hula hoop, because if I will check her belly button measurements and give her a hula hoop according to that, she will really struggle and feel like a failure. If I give her a huge hula hoop, it will make her very happy, the hoop will stay up and she will get smaller, the dress sizes will keep going down, and she will eventually one day be able to go down sizes with her hula hoop, because she will shrink. Not shorter, but narrower she will become. But then let's say there's someone tall and slim who, let's say, keeps fit as well every now and then. And you check how far her belly button is from the ground. And if you give her a giant hula hoop because she's tall, she will be bored and fed up, because it's not going to be much of a workout. That hula hoop will be super slow on her and she will not enjoy it. She will need a smaller hula hoop. So the belly button business to me has not really been helpful. I have been helping absolute beginners start hula hooping for many years, and I find that the dress size is the most helpful way to determine the size of the hula hoop that one benefits from. And I have the chart available here for you. So if you want, take a screenshot, identify which one you are on that chart, and I hope that it's going to help you find the hoop that makes you very happy. If you're looking for a hula hoop for kids, I do have a separate video about that. But in the medium weight hula hoop world is where you find one that they can actually keep up. Just for a reference, if you want to know, my daughter has been able to keep a hoop spinning around her waist since she was 3 years old, and since then she's been using the same hoop, which is 32 inches, 20mm HDP, but for learning new moves on feet and hands she uses tiny toy shop hoops. Which takes us to our final destination. We're going into the world of lightweight hoops. And our journey of discovering all the different worlds of hula hoops leads us to our final destination, the tiny and lightweight hula hoops. Actually, not all of them are tiny. Some of them are quite big, but still they are very light. What I would say is this is where the toy shop cheap hula hoops belong, but also the polypro hula hoops, which are not cheap at all. And these hoops are still pretty good. I have a collection of all these toy shop and kiddie hoops as well, because they are great for children. Of course, not around the waist, but for hands and legs and feet. And they're good for adults for hands and legs and feet too. So if you desire to learn some tossing, flying, throwing, catching kind of moves with a hula hoop or few, then these will be excellent for that. But if your goals are to get into shape, put some muscle on, burn some fat, you know, that sort of thing, these hoops are not that brilliant. But for your brain and for learning, for dexterity, they are pretty awesome. As you can see, my polypro hoops are lighter, 220 grams. Almost same like the toy shop hoops, however big or small they are pretty light. Feeling more knowledgeable about buying a hula hoop? I suppose, gorgeous, you're an expert. Chances are, eventually you will have a couple of different hula hoops anyway, if you keep going with your hula hooping. And how amazing that would be if you carried on, because then it means you found something that you enjoy doing. And none of these hoops are a waste of money. Even if you started off with the super weight heavy hula hoop that you shouldn't carry on using for too long, That is still brilliant, not a waste of money, because with that you can help people who do not believe that they can hula hoop to start believing in themselves and be able to keep up the hoop. The medium range is perfect for keeping in shape and changing your physique, and the tiny hula hoops will be brilliant to learn stuff on your hands and feet, and also to play with your kids, because it's amazing for their brain development as well. They usually do not have an interest in six packs and all that jazz. They just want to play. So you do not want to freak them out with something heavier. You can toss and catch some lighter hula hoops, and you will find good use for them all. If you are really determined to get a weighted hula hoop, or you have one and you really want to carry on using it, I do recommend that you check my video that is coming up next, because that's going to help you find out more about these weighted hoops.